Good morning, readers, and welcome back to Quarantine Literacy. We are in our second week here, and we have been talking about friendship. What makes a good friendship? How do friends treat each other? Whether we would want to be friends with characters in our books. Hopefully you all wrote a little bit about whether you would want to be friends with Poppleton and Cherry Sue, or whether you'd want to be friends with Frog and Toad. And maybe you outlined why you would or would not want to be in those friendships. So, we're going to read a really special book today. But before I begin, I want to come back to that web that we made. Remember this friendship web that we made together? So, we thought of all of these qualities of what makes a good friend, right? And you'll notice that I started highlighting. I did this in our last video, but I started highlighting where we saw evidence of these qualities in the books that we were reading. So remember, we decided that Frog and Toad really showed that quality of helping each other when Frog helped Toad find his button. So I put F and T for Frog and Toad, and I even highlighted it green because they're frogs and toads are green. People who are different, right? Friendships can be between people who are really different. And in Frog and Toad, we definitely see this because Frog and Toad kind of couldn't be more opposite characters. Then we read Poppleton, and we read about the beautiful friendship between Cherry Sue and Poppleton. And we talked about how Cherry Sue was very honest with Poppleton. And in fact, Poppleton was honest with her too in telling her what he had been doing at home, eating all those French fries. So I put P and C for Poppleton and Cherry Sue. They also remember that Poppleton goes to Cherry Sue for advice again and again and again. And that's something friends do for one another. Is they give and receive advice. So I highlighted that in orange. So I highlighted all these in orange because Poppleton's a pig and he's orange or pink, something like that. And we decided that friends have fun. Wouldn't be a great friendship if they weren't really having some fun, right? So Poppleton and Cherry Sue definitely have fun together. We're going to see which qualities of friendship we see in our book today. And maybe we'll come up with some new ones we could add to our web. You can always add on more to a web. All right, without further ado, the next book that we will be reading is called Knuffle Bunny 2. And this is by one of my favorite authors, Mo Willems. And remember I showed you that connection, that thing where you put your fingers together when you have a connection to something? And we talked about how you can have a connection to a book from your own life, or you can have a connection to a book from another book, right? And I would maybe go like, connection book, or connection me. So I'm going to have so many connections, you guys, because I used to live in this neighborhood. I was neighbors with Mo Willems, and this, all of these photographs, this is a combination of drawing, as you can see, and photography. So these are real photographs from a neighborhood in New York City, a neighborhood called Park Slope, and that is where I used to live. So I always love reading this book because I see lots of familiar images of places where I used to hang out. Knuffle Bunny 2. A Case of Mistaken Identity by Mo Willems. Mistaken identity means that basically somebody confuses someone for someone else. Or in this case, someone confuses a bunny for another bunny. One morning, not so long ago, Trixie took a walk with her daddy. By now, Trixie really knew how to talk. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to show Amy, and then I'll show Meg, and then I'll show Margot, and then I'll show Jane, and then I'll show Leela, and then I'll show Rebecca, and then I'll show Noah, and then I'll show Robbie, and then I'll show Tashi, I'll show Casey, I'll show Connie, and I'll show Parker, and then I'll show Brian, and talk and talk. Trixie was excited because she was taking her one-of-a-kind Knuffle Bunny someplace very special. I wonder where they're going, you guys. They're passing the barber shop in Park Slope, New York. Come on, she says. She is eager to get wherever they're going. school! And here they are. They're entering the school. They're going up the stairs, and then they're going through the classroom door into her class. It's a very exciting time. Do you remember your first day of school? Trixie couldn't wait to show Knuffle Bunny to Mrs. Greengrove and all her friends in pre-K. But just as her daddy kissed her goodbye, Trixie saw Sonja. Uh-oh, look at that face. You can tell she is not happy. Dun, dun, dun! Because, look, you guys, Sonja has a bunny just like Trixie's bunny, and Trixie was just describing her bunny as one of a kind. So she is, what do you think? Happy that someone else has a bunny just like hers, or is she not so happy? Trixie doesn't look so happy. She looks a little mischievous, doesn't she? Suddenly, Trixie's one-of-a-kind Knuffle Bunny wasn't so one-of-a-kind anymore. Oh, she looks very disappointed. Has that ever happened to you guys? When you think that you have this like really cool thing and you're bringing it in to share in your class, or you're going to show one of your friends and they're like, yeah, I have one of those. Has that ever happened to you? Oh, doesn't feel good. The morning did not go well. Knuffle, 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 Knuffle. So they're arguing over how you pronounce the name, and it is confusing. It's on this, you guys can see it on this title page. It is spelled with a K, but sometimes Ks can be silent, like at the beginning of the word knife, K-N-I-F-E. So it's unclear whether it's Knuffle Bunny or if it's Knuffle Bunny, and the K is silent. So they're arguing. Trixie thinks it's Knuffle, and Sonja says, no, it's Knuffle. So they are just not getting along. And look, Sonja's playing with her Knuffle Bunny, and Trixie's like, I'm not participating in that. And here they are in a pretty heated argument, and there's the teacher looking not so happy about it. The afternoon was worse. What happened in the afternoon, you guys? What did the teacher finally decide she had to do to stop the fighting? Take the bunnies away. And now Sonja and Trixie are both miserable. Oh, isn't this cool how the photographs in the background are real, but then all the drawings are on top of them and they're made up? I just think that's so fun. Let's see. When the school bell rang, Miss Greengrove returned the Knuffle bunnies, and the day got better. So here she is running on the playground, and she's so happy again. Then, before she knew it, it was time to go home. Trixie ate her dinner. Doesn't look like she was enjoying it very much, huh? Devoured her dessert. Devoured means she ate it right up, all of it. Brushed her teeth, and tried to escape the mommy and daddy robots from planet Snurp. Looks like they're having fun playing at home. I hope you're doing a lot of fun make-believe play at home right now, because you're certainly spending a lot of time at home. At 1/2 bedtime, Trixie was tucked in. Oh, she looks ready to go to sleep, and there's her parents saying night-night, and they're turning off the light. Ready for sleep. Uh-oh, you guys. But a few hours later, she's happily sleeping. She's snoring. She's getting a little anxious. She's turned upside down in her bed. She's looking confused and concerned, and then, can you make that face, you guys? Wide eyes. Oh no! She realized something. Trixie realized something. What did she realize, do you think? What happened? Trixie marched into her mommy and daddy's room and said, look how she's carrying that bunny. She's like, oh, get this thing out of my sight. That is not my bunny. Trixie's parents are like, huh? What's going on? Trixie's dad tried to explain what 2:30 a.m. means. That is like the middle of the night, you guys. He asked, can we deal with this in the morning? He's like, please, come on. And Mom's like, yeah, no, you're going to have to deal with this. Trixie's daddy went to the phone, where he is scratching his backside on his way to the phone. Before he even made it down the stairs, ring! The phone rang. "We have your bunny," said a man's voice on the other end. "We have yours," replied Trixie's daddy. Arrangements were made. Look at them. They're in their pajamas, they put on their robes, and they're scurrying out into the night to get the bunny back. That is one good daddy. Trixie and her daddy rushed across the neighborhood. There they are, running down the block. You guys, this is Grand Army Plaza. This is like 2 blocks from where I used to live. This is in Brooklyn. Trixie did not want to be late. And you can see Sonja and her daddy coming, and it says neither did Sonja. They're coming from way over there. And Trixie and her daddy are coming from way over here. Right there. There was an exchange. The dads are like, here, take that, go ahead. And the Knuffle bunnies were back where they belonged. Phew! Boy, Trixie was pretty upset about that, huh? She was not going to sleep without her Knuffle bunny. "I was so worried about my bunny," said Sonja. "So was I," Trixie replied. Then they both said, "I'm glad you got your bunny back," at the exact same time. We call that a jinx. And look, they're laughing so much. And that is how Trixie found her first best friend. And there's a little asterisk after first because it says Knuffle Bunny accepted, of course, because of course Knuffle Bunny was her actual first best friend. And then it says the end. And there's 2 pictures of the bunnies, but there's actually a prologue. Hold on. It's not a prologue. Prologue comes first, and epilogue comes last. The next morning, both Trixie and Sonja rushed to school. Look how happy they are with their bunnies returned. And look how miserable those daddies are. They look exhausted because they got woken up at 2:30 in the morning and had to rush down the street to exchange bunnies. The new best friends had a lot of catching up to do. "Do you want to play with my Knuffle bunny?" "Sure. Want to play with mine?" What happened there? We went from Trixie and Sonja giving each other the evil eye and fighting for the whole day, right? To all of a sudden, they are now besties and they're playing happily at school together. Sometimes that can happen, you guys. Friendships can begin in all sorts of different ways. Sometimes a friendship starts with a problem. And even if a friendship doesn't start with a problem, you're almost always going to encounter some kind of friendship problem at some point during your friendship, right? And usually what happens from that problem is that your friendship becomes even stronger because you work through the problem together, right? Just like Trixie and Sonja, who at first they thought, well, I don't like you because you have the same bunny that I have and I wanted it to be my one-of-a-kind bunny and, well, I don't want to be friends with you. To, wait, we both have a bunny. We both have the same kind of bunny. Maybe that means that we could be really good friends and we can play together so well. So I want you to think tonight about a time when you have had a friendship struggle, where you either have gotten into an argument with a friend or you disagreed about something. And I want you to write a little bit about how your friendship improved because of that struggle. Okay, and I'll check in with you tomorrow when we read another friendship book. Until then, read, read, read. Goodbye, readers.